that ass back like a boom, 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 boom.
Hi folks, how are we all doing? Just a quick bit of an update on the YouTube front because I know I've been a little bit quiet on it this week, but if this makes any sense, there's been a lot going on and not a lot happening at the same time. We have a good few non-sport related ideas coming up in the pipeline, which I will go into either in this video or one which will follow fairly shortly after it. I suppose that from my own personal point of view, it just dawned on me during the week that I really never got tuned in to the World Snooker Championship this year at all. I suppose there was a lot of other stuff going on, and I never sort of really got around to getting properly tuned into it, and I am not going to sort of jump on the bandwagon today for the final because I would just feel like that I've sort of cheated myself as well as everybody else. But when I say cheated myself, I just think that I would be, I'd feel sort of nearly, that jumping on the bandwagon in the final sort of wouldn't leave myself in a proper position to comment when, to be honest, I haven't really been tuned into it throughout the 2 weeks. But that was largely due to the fact, I suppose, that first of all, I have been totally engrossed in the Punchestown Festival, obviously, for the last week. And betting wise, I'd say I come out about even maybe after the 5 days. It certainly wasn't as profitable as Cheltenham, shall we say, but it wasn't the worst either. But I think the overriding recollections I would have from Punchestown would be, number one, yet again, the absolute and complete dominance of Willie Mullins throughout the 5 days of the meeting. To end up with 18 winners out of what I think was 35/8/40. You nearly say he won half of every race that was run in Punchestown over the 5 days. Now, of course, there's absolutely nothing he can do about, or should do about that himself. Like, the firepower the man has at his disposal, and the owners he has to provide him with it are beyond compare anywhere in horse racing. Well, certainly in national hunt racing anyway. And I suppose to a certain extent it falls into the same bracket as that of the Dublin footballers. I mean, they are not going to alter the processes that have brought them so much success, and neither is Willie Mullins. So I think the onus actually falls on the rest of racing, more or less, to I don't know, do you say get your house in order, or whatever way you want to look at it, because I mean, not taking away anything from Willie or his team in the slightest, but it can't surely be good for racing that one man can literally have such a stranglehold over the entire sport. Now, for whatever reason, the Gordon Elliott stroke Sneezy Foster horses seem to have just gone off the boil at the minute, which look, it happens in yards. Fellas yards go through spells just where they're not running as well as there have been, or indeed as there might be. But uh, it's symbolic of the stranglehold that Willie Mullins has on the jump game here in Ireland, that Noel Meade, who's an 8-time champion trainer in his own right, and topped the money list, I think, another 4 times. So you may as well say a man that was top trainer in Ireland 12 times. When you see him having a winner at a big festival like Punchestown, and it really being classified as a turn-up, it gives you some idea of the utter dominance Willie Mullins has wielded over the sport, and continues to wield, I suppose you would say. Now, just on the Noel Meade situation, I would actually say that in some ways, certainly the first word that would come to my mind would be disrespect. That when you see a horse that admittedly was entitled to be an outsider going to the Cheltenham Festival in Jeff Kidder, but 80 to 1 or not, he did win, and win it well. The Boodles Juvenile Hurdle came out then and won at Fairyhouse, where he was again somewhat unconsidered in the grand scheme of things, and won again. But I mean, to see him going off at 22 to 1 yesterday in what must be regarded as the best juvenile hurdle run in this country this year, it just didn't sit well with me. Now, it must be said that Quixilius was obviously entitled to be a fairly warm order favourite, given the manner in which the Triumph Hurdle was put to bed. Now, I will say that that horse obviously ran too bad to be true yesterday. There's no way he ran to his true form, but even allowing for that a Cheltenham Festival winner and Fairyhouse Festival winner was allowed to go off at 22 to 1 as Jeff Kidder was yesterday. It just didn't sit well with me, because I would have no doubt that if Jeff Kidder was trained by, well, Willie Mullins or Gordon or Henry de Bromhead or some of the others, let's say, there's absolutely no way he would have been allowed to go off at 22-1, given what he had achieved already during the year. Now, just to go back to the Mullins dominance and all of that, look, obviously, as I said, Willie Mullins is not going to change his processes or how he does things, nor should he be expected to, by the way. But it's up to the rest of racing as a whole, and by that I mean governing bodies and those within the higher echelons of the sport to to make it as competitive on a broader scale as is humanly possible. Now, of course, how you go about doing that is an entirely different kettle of fish. Now, I think it has been well proven at this stage that that the prize money is certainly one thing that Irish racing has gone for it in abundance, as best evidenced by seeing the like of Paul Nichols and Anthony Honeyball and Harry Fry and people like that bringing horses over to run in our big meetings, and I suppose in the past I would have had sort of mixed feelings and slight reservations about the following, but in the current climate and where national hunt racing is in this country, you would actually be quite glad to see the likes of these people bringing horses over, because it just adds a little bit more competition to the scene here, as is evidence that Paul Nichols' team went home with 2 winners, and Harry Fry, of course, got a winner late yesterday evening as well. So they obviously can see that it's worth their while coming over here to go for the prize money. But the question then arises: how do we attract our own trainers to take on the likes of Willie in these bigger races? Now, one thing I do have a slight little reservation about is trainers like Willie or Aidan O'Brien on the flat or whoever it may be, being able to load races with 2 and 3 and maybe 4 runners in some cases. Now, I know with Coolmore on the flat, it is definitely a more prevalent thing, because if Aidan O'Brien does it, they're nearly all under the Coolmore banner, and you're talking basically for the one circle of people. Now, at least I think there was a remarkable statistic that ran through the week of Punchestown. I think it was 18 winners Willie ended up with over the course of the 5 days, and I'm I'm nearly sure it was either 15 or 16 different owners. Now, the fact that that was the case, at least it balances up the fact that he won so many of the races. Well, at least um, they were for different people, and it's not quite as all devouring as the situation on the flat where it's 2 and 3 and maybe 4 under the banner of Coolmore, given that the 3 members of the O'Brien family are now running horses under the same heading. And, I mean, you could go at it from a flat point of view that the O'Brien family even have too much of a stranglehold on it. But the only thing that would disprove that theory, and it worked out very well personally from my point of view yesterday anyway, is when you see the like of the remarkable Jim Bulger coming out and training an English 2000 Guineas winner, proving that he's still more than capable of mixing it at the top level with the likes of the Coolmores and the Arab operations and whatnot. And I think of even more significance from the Irish flat perspective, Dermot Weld would appear to have a good stock of horses again. Ger Lyons continues to be an emerging force, which is great to see, because to my mind he has always been and is one of the top flat trainers anywhere, but now at least he's being rewarded with the stock to endorse what many of us have always felt about his abilities. But the jump scene is actually, to an extent, even more worrying now, for the simple reason that Willie has just really got that much of a vice-like grip on the situation that attaining a remedy to exactly that is a lot easier said than done, especially in a climate where it appears at least Michael O'Leary and Jigginstown House are still on course to phase themselves out of racing. Now, it would never surprise me in the slightest if it would never surprise me in the slightest if there was even a partial reversal of that situation in the medium to long term. But the likes of Noel Meade and various different trainers will be particularly hit when the Jigginstown horses phase out. If if there's not a sort of what would we say, backup or replacement, or if somebody doesn't come in and fill the void which will be undoubtedly left by the defection of Jigginstown from the scene. Now, obviously, to some extent, the arrival on the scene, if you want to call it that, of Chiefly Park Stud, and indeed Brian Aitchison's Rob Kerr operation would appear to offset the balance a little bit, as would the re-emergence of Sean and Bernardine Mulrine, and of course the greatest man of them all, Mr. McManus, is still inputting his backing to new yards all the time, as well as staying loyal to those who he's been loyal to for years. You see, yesterday, for example, you had the shunter who has absolutely been a flagship horse for Emmett Mullins in the fledgling part of his career, had its first outing in the green and gold hoops yesterday, and considering the busy year the horses had, I would have thought that he ran with great credit, and definitely I would imagine a lot more to come from the horse, but even more so for a relatively young trainer in the early part of his career like Emmett Mullins to get the green and gold hoops into his tack room at this early stage is a great boost for him, and that certainly should leave him in a fairly strong position. But as regards the utter dominance exerted by Willie over the rest of the national hunt scene here, you would hope that the like of Cheveley Park and Rob Kerr and maybe the Mulrines would spread their wings a bit, because the likes of Noel Meade and there's I know Mouse Morris has got some of the Rob Kerr horses as well, as has Jesse and a few more, but the likes of Gavin Cromwell, Ross O'Sullivan indeed has his profile has rightly risen in the last while too, both on the flat and over jumps. But for trainers say that would have or are about to lose Jigginstown stock, it would certainly be good for them if some of the newer brigade were to throw their support behind them.